Welcome to Read This Next with Nicole and Laura. This week we are doing romance novels in anticipation of Valentine's Day, and we're specifically doing high concept romance.
Yes, high concept romantic comedies even. So what that means, if you're not sure what we're talking about, is basically the kind of story where you kind of sum it up in a sentence or two. So like a high concept romantic comedy would be something like the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where it turns out they're both spies and neither of them knew that about each other. What's going to happen next? So often, like the kind of story that you can kind of elevator pitch. So all the stories we're going to pull out, we're going to recommend, we're going to give you like kind of what that little through line pitch is, and then we'll give you the full description of what the story is about.
And we got a whole bunch of really good ones today. Yay!
We do. We have so many. Not hard to find.
Yeah,
like
so
this,
many.
Definitely.
Yeah, so many that we had to go through the list and be like, oh, wait, we actually talked about this. Oh, wait, we have
talked
too
about
many.
this before.
Yeah, we got really, really excited. All right, you want to jump into it?
Sure, let's jump into it.
Okay. Are we going to talk about the sensuality rating? The spicy
sure.
meter?
We might as well. So what we decided to do, because we don't do a ton of romance, since these ones are all romance, I went looking and I found a website that has a sensuality ratings guide, and they rate like popular romance novels, and they basically say whether it is kisses sensuality, subtle, so nothing explicit, warm, moderately explicit sensuality, hot, more explicit, and then burning, which is extremely explicit. So just none of the books that we're reckoning this week actually go any hotter than warm, as it turns out. So they're all going to be, I almost think of it, it's almost like PG-13, and then like 18, and then R.
Yeah, we are in the PG-13, maybe 17 at the max.
A little bit. Oh, some of mine are a little bit hotter than that, but
Good to know.
They're warm, moderately explicit, whatever.
Yeah, and if we have another episode next week, which will be slow burn. So maybe the spicy meter will go up a bit, but we shall see.
But we'll try to give you. We want to give you a bit of a heads up as to what sort of temperature you might be getting if you pick up any of these titles.
It's good to have a fair warning. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then let's get into it. Alexandria Bella Fleur, sensuality warm.
Very sweet.
Again. So with nods to Bridget Jones and Pride and Prejudice, this is the tag, the elevator pitch. A charming #own voices queer rom-com debut about a free-spirited social media astrologer who agrees to a fake relationship with a uptight actuary until New Year's Eve, with results not even the stars could predict. What's an actuary?
Right. Like a super fancy accountant?
Oh.
I believe.
Okay, and an astrologer. Yes. Wow.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. You know what? Tell me more.
Okay. After a disastrous blind date. Darcy Lowell is desperate to stop her well-meaning brother from playing matchmaker ever again. Love and the inevitable heartbreak is the last thing she wants. So she fibs and says her latest setup was a success. Darcy doesn't expect her lie to bite her in the ass. L. Jones, one of the astrologers behind the popular Twitter account Oh My Stars, dreams of finding her soulmate, but she knows it is most assuredly not Darcy, a no-nonsense stick in the mud who's always way too analytical, punctual, and skeptical for someone as free-spirited as L. When Darcy's brother and Elle's new business partner expresses how happy he is that they hit it off, Elle is baffled. Was Darcy on the same date? Because, Awkward. When Darcy begs Elle to play along, she agrees to pretend they are dating to save face, but with a few conditions. Darcy must help Elle navigate her own overbearing family over the holidays, and their arrangement expires on New Year's Eve. The last thing they expect is to develop real feelings during a fake relationship, but maybe opposites can attract when true love is written in the stars. So it's Pride and Prejudice.
It is Pride and Prejudice. It's so classic, the classic romance tropes. Oh, it's fake dating. Here's the rules. And then one of them's going to want to break the rules and be like, but what if they don't want to break the rules? I don't know if they want to, but they both want to break the rules. Yeah.
And it's gay.
It is. It's a lady love book.
Love it.
Yes. Yeah. Great cover.
I was going to say, does it take place in Seattle? Are we having a Sleepless in Seattle? Where are they?
No, I want to say San Francisco, but I might be making that up.
I'm going to Google it.
It does look like Seattle based on the cover of the book.
Or it's Toronto.
Probably not Toronto. It's never Toronto.
It's never Toronto. Dang.
But yeah, opposites attract. Classic.
Mm-hmm. I like it. It's gonna tick a lot of boxes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Next one. If I Never Met You by Mari McFarlane. Sensuality, subtle. So a step back from some of the others. Okay, so here we go. Jamie Carter doesn't believe in love, but he needs a respectable, steady girlfriend to impress their bosses. Lori wants a hot new man to give the rumor mill something else to talk about. It's the perfect proposition. A fomance played out on social media with strategically staged photographs and a specific end date in mind. So here we are again with the fake dating.
Amazing.
I'll give you some more background about the story. If faking love is this easy, how do you know when it's real?
That's a great start.
What a question. Sure. When her partner of over a decade suddenly ends things, Lori is left reeling, not only because they work at the same law firm and she has to see him every day. Her perfect life is in shambles. And the thought of dating again in the age of Tinder, I almost said the age of Twitter. That's horrifying as well. It does say the age of Tinder is just horrifying. I almost said the age of Twitter, also horrifying. When news of her ex's pregnant girlfriend hits the office grapevine, taking the humiliation lying down is not an option. Then a chance encounter in a broken down elevator with the office playboy opens up a new possibility. So Jamie and Lori each need something. The office playboy needs a respectable girlfriend. She wants a hot new man. So with the plan hatched, Lori and Jamie begin to flaunt their new couple status to the astonishment and jealousy of their friends and colleagues. But there's a fine line between pretending to be in love and actually falling for your charming, handsome, fake boyfriend.
That one sounds super cute. Why does he need a steady girlfriend to impress his bosses?
I don't know.
That sounds fake.
Maybe
He's like, yeah, I'll date you, but I need to impress my bosses.
He seems flake. I don't know. It's like, how much?
A cat.
Sorry about that. If you can hear my cat yelling. He's a little noisy. He's just shush.
He sounds like he's saying hello.
He's
Nice.
just yelling. He's old and he's getting a little deaf, so he figures if he can't hear himself, no one else can either. So he better be really loud.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah, that's how he rolls now. Anyway, okay, so that is If I Never Met You. Mm-hmm. On to the next.
Okay.
Keep rolling.
Our next one is Something to Talk About by Meryl Wilsner. Okay. A showrunner and her assistant give the world something to talk about while they accidentally fuel a ridiculous rumor in this romance debut. Tagline, elevator pitch. Hollywood powerhouse Jo is photographed making her assistant Emma laugh on the red carpet, and just like that, the tabloids declare them a couple. More info. The so-called scandal couldn't come at a worse time, threatening Emma's promotion and Joe's new movie. As the gossip spreads, it starts to affect all areas of their lives. Paparazzi are following them outside the office, coworkers are treating them differently, and a source is feeding information to the media. But their only comment is no comment. With the launch of Joe's film project fast approaching, the two women began to spend even more time together, getting along famously. Emma seems to have a sixth sense for knowing what Joe needs, and Joe, known for being aloof and outwardly cold, opens up to Emma in a way neither of them expects. They begin to realize the rumor might not be so off base after all, but is acting on the spark between them worth fanning the gossip flames? I love this description. That one sounds great too.
Yes, obviously it is worth fanning the gossip flames. Clearly. And that is another lesbian romance. Pleased
Perfect.
to report.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last, oh no, not even. My last one, I think. Finally, my last one. Okay, so this is another one.
It's YA.
This is YA. Yes, this is our first YA one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it is called Date Me, Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy. And its sort of pitch is that there's a dare. Each week, Bryson Keller must date someone new, the first person to ask him out on Monday morning. Few think Bryson can do it. He may be the king of Fairvale Academy, but he's never really dated before. Until a boy asks him out and everything changes. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Kai Sheridan didn't expect Bryson to say yes. So when Bryson agrees to secretly go out with him, Kai is thrown for a loop. But as the days go by, he discovers there's more to Bryson beneath the surface, and dating him begins to feel less like an act and more like the real thing. Oh, who could have seen that coming?
Not me.
Kai knows how the story of a gay boy liking someone straight ends. With his heart on the line, he's awkwardly trying to navigate senior year at school, at home, and in the closet, all while grappling with the fact that this relationship will only last 5 days. After all, Bryson Keller is popular, good-looking, and straight, right? Kevin Van Wy delivers an uplifting and poignant coming out love story that will have readers rooting for these two teens to share their hearts with the world and each other.
That's very sweet. I like it.
You know what? That book was delightful. I read that one, and there was this whole bit, like sort of, each book, the book goes by like days. So it starts on like Sunday or whatever, and then Monday, Tuesday. And I think it was like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. And I kept saying to my partner, Scott, like, this is so cute. Like, they're so sweet. It's adorable.
Aww.
Just really nice, like, getting to know each other. I really enjoyed it. It is a coming out story. Like, that is definitely a big part of it. And I guess I should say, like, a trigger warning for a forced coming out, like he's one of the characters is outed in the school newspaper, and it's like traumatic for him, and he has comes out in it and is basically forced to come out to his parents, and that's also traumatic. And it is like, I'm saying this, and it is still at the same time like a romantic comedy, and things work out at the end because that's how these sort of stories go. But there are those parts of the story. So if you won't enjoy those things, then I recommend you go ahead and skip that part. But overall,
very sweet.
Really great, very sweet. Also, just a little controversy about this one.
Yes.
Just a little. Okay. And this did actually break through, and the author was asked about this in interviews. So he says in the acknowledgments of the book, even he says basically, like, I came up with this idea based on, a lot of like the 90s romantic comedies that I watched when I was a teenager, and also, lots of other kind of big romantic comedies for teens of the last couple of years. But he especially shouts out She's All That, which depending on your age, you may or may not recall that rom-com, but that's one of the date ones where the jocks are like, the one jock is like, I could make any girl homecoming queen if I dated her. And the other jocks are like, you couldn't. Here, go make over that mousy girl. And then what do you know? He hangs out with her, takes her glasses off and gives her a haircut.
Wow.
And she's beautiful and lovely. The movie's a little bit terrible, but it's a classic tale. Anyway, so you can reading the book, you can hear, like, very obviously in the plot, there's lots of influences of that sort of thing. But there was a controversy that he talks about a specific Japanese manga series called 7 Days, and the line, like the description of this comic is literally the popular guy agrees he's going to date whoever asks him out on the Monday of that week, and then on this one particular week a boy asks him out, and since that's not outside the rules, he has to agree.
So it's the same.
So it's the same. I haven't read the comic, so I can't comment on like how close the characters are and how much it follows the same dynamic between the characters or whatever. So it's basically, I can't speak to that, but based on just that plot being the same, I don't feel that it is plagiarism. I feel like that is not such an original plot idea
that's the basis of fan fiction, is taking, what's that, archetypes. All stories are retelling the same stories, and your idea
archetypes
is never
and tropes.
Yeah, tropes are found in everything, and you can't claim them.
Right, but there are. I think what makes it a little bit more difficult for some people is they're like, oh, he acknowledges that, and then he says that he's doing like a Western, and he says more realistic version of it. And so there are a bunch of people who are like, oh, well, why is he acting like this Japanese cultural version isn't good enough and he needs to change it? But I don't think that's necessarily, I feel like maybe he misspoke at some point. I don't think he's saying there's anything wrong with it, but I think saying you want to take like the bones of an idea and it is very different from how you would tell that story in Western culture. It is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Neither is better or worse.
This is a bit of a tough one because I just don't have, like, we don't have all of the facts because we haven't read that book that it's said to be compared to. But I just wanted to bring it up because I think it's interesting. You know, like, it's tough in any genre. People are going to repeat ideas. But this especially seemed to get people. So he was, in many interviews, was asked to kind of explain himself a little bit.
I wonder, though, is it just because, like, you and I have talked about this many times, that LGBTQ books, they're few and far in between, not so much anymore, but is it just because it's two people, like, that the story of a guy dating the first person that he that like asks him out isn't new, but is it a big deal because they're both gay? Like,
I guess so.
Like, if that's the only thing, like, whatever. It is weird, though, that he acknowledged that he, like, took inspiration from other things, though. Like, that's kind of weird.
Yes. And I think he also does talk a little bit about, you know, yaoi, often written by, like, it's often written by women who are writing about male gay relationships, whereas in this instance, this is an own voices story because he is a gay man and he's writing about something that is his own experience. So just something to think about.
Yeah, that's the beauty of book talk. Yet again, you get to decide for yourself in a lot of instances. It's a lot of gray areas.
It really is. I tried to see if I could find the book, honestly, but it would have been like too much to get it by the time we're doing this.
Yeah.
So I might see if I can track it down and read it later, but for
We'll
today.
have
Didn't
a
quite.
hot update. Breaking news. Laura has read 7 days. 7 days?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to our last highlight. It is called the Matchmakers List. Sensuality Spicy Meter Kisses. This one is not a YA, but
Right.
and it is a hashtag own voices, I believe. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
One devoted modern girl plus a meddlesome trouble. Nope. Gonna start over.
You were gonna say troublesome.
Yes, I was gonna say troublesome grandmother. One, one devoted modern girl and a meddlesome traditional grandmother equals a heartwarming multicultural romantic comedy about finding love where you least expect it. Raina and End may have finally given in to family pressure, not peer pressure, and agreed to let her grandmother play matchmaker. But that doesn't mean she always has to like it or that she has to play by the rules. Nani always took Raina's side when she tried to push past the traditional expectations of their tight-knit Indian immigrant community, but now she's ambushing Raina with a list of suitable bachelors. Is it too much to ask for a little space? Besides, what Nani doesn't know won't hurt her. As Raina's life spirals into a parade of Nani-approved bachelors and disastrous blind dates, she must find a way out of this modern-day arranged marriage trap without shattering her beloved grandmother's dreams. Very sweet.
Very sweet.
Yeah, a little
Very
bit of
sweet.
family in there
Yeah.
too, which is nice.
Mhm.
Very cute. Okay.
Okay.
Let's get to our recs
Sounds
because
great.
we're running out of time.
We are. We are. Okay. I'll do mine first and then you do yours.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So mine is a YA. It's called The Voting Booth. It's by Brandy Colbert, who's written quite a few YA books that have been very popular in the last couple of years. And she's written some more like serious books. And then this one is a lot. It's still serious because it's called The Voting Booth. So obviously, like this is a political story, but it is also has a lot of fun, fluffy bits as well. Okay, so here's this story. Marva Sheridan was born ready for this day. She's always been driven to make a difference in the world, and what better way than to vote in her first election? Duke Crenshaw is so done with this election. He just wants to get voting over with so he can prepare for his band's first paying gig tonight. Only problem? Duke can't vote. When Marva sees Duke turned away from their polling place, she takes it upon herself to make sure his vote is counted. She hasn't spent months doorbelling and registering voters just to see someone denied their right. And that's how their whirlwind day begins, rushing from precinct to precinct, cutting school, waiting in endless lines, turned away time and again, trying to do one simple thing, vote. They may have started as strangers, but as Duke and Marva team up to beat a rigged system and find Marva's missing cat, it's clear that there's more to their connection than a shared mission for democracy.
That sounds
It's so cute. It's so cute. It's one of those, like the whole story takes place in one day. And multiple perspectives. So we go between Marva and Duke. We each get their perspective on what things are happening. And it is obviously political, but it is not connected to, like, it doesn't talk really about many present day specific things. Like there's no mention of the virus. There's no mention of like actual named politicians or anything like that. So there's a little bit of escapism there, but it does talk a lot about how, race impacts accessibility of voting rights and voter suppression. And it does all these like heavy things while also doing like this really sweet growing relationship between the two of them. And then also there's a cat. So yeah, it really manages to balance, to do a real like balancing act between heavier, more serious topics. And then also this like cute growing bond between the two of them. Highly recommended.
Yay. Yeah. Okay.
Yay.
My rec. I will scroll back up.
All
right. I have this one. Look at it.
Cute.
It's called Chaotic Good by Whitney Gardner. It's very good. So obviously, if you know what chaotic good is, it's a D&D reference. So this is basically, I know. I just started playing D&D
We're big
literally
nerds.
last night. It was really fun.
Really?
Yeah. We ended up we set up for like an hour, and then we played for like 3 hours. It was just a tutorial. We were like having so much fun. It was great. Anyways,
Was this okay?
well, no, we'll
Anyways,
talk about it later.
We'll talk about it another time.
We don't have time. We gotta go. Okay. The basic idea of this one is that she is pretending to be her brother to fit in with a group of nerdy boys. So here's the description. Cameron's cosplay, dressing like a fictional character, is finally starting to earn her attention she hopes to use to get into the Caltech costume department for college. But when she wins a major competition, she inadvertently sets off a firestorm of angry comments from male fans. When Cameron's family moves the summer before her senior year, she hopes to complete her costume portfolio in peace and quiet, away from all the abuse. Unfortunately, the only comic shop in her town, her main destination for character reference, is staffed by a dude bro owner who challenges every woman who comes into the shop. At her twin brother's suggestion, Cameron borrows a set of his clothes and uses her costuming expertise to waltz into the shop as boy Cameron, where she's shocked at how easily she's accepted into the nerd fandom. Or nerd inner sanctum, sorry. Soon, Cameron finds herself drafted into a D&D campaign alongside the jerky shop owner Brody, friendly, almost flirtatiously so, clerk Wyatt, handsome Lincoln, and her bro Cooper dragged along for good measure. But as her secret identity gets more and more entrenched, Cameron's portfolio falls by the wayside, and her feelings for Lincoln threaten to make a complicated situation even more precarious. So this is a YA, very sweet. Does touch a little bit on the sexism that can be found in nerd culture.
Sounds like it.
But it was it was a simple, straightforward read, and I really enjoyed it. And you get to watch some like D&D sometimes. It's great. Lots of fun.
Lots of fun. That's good. Okay, those are our high concept romantic comedy reads for Romance Month. Okay.
Thank you for watching the episode. Please like, follow, subscribe at TBayPL on any social media platform. Please review this podcast if you're listening to it on whatever podcast platform you like. It helps people find it, and share the good book news. We post our audio Tuesdays and the video version the following Monday. And of course, you can find our show notes at www.tbplofftheshelf.com. It's getting better.
Yay!
All right.
Very smooth.
Yes.
All right.
We'll see you guys all next week.
Bye.
Bye.